Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. Today we will explore 10 useful tips for customizing SharePoint list fields using PowerShell. In this video, I will cover the following topics like renaming the title field and making it as a required field and how to set values to the SharePoint list choice field, etc. So manually customizing a few lists is fine, but if you have many lists to update, it can be a real pain. That's where the PowerShell comes in. It makes the bulk changes quick and easy. Now let's see how to make the SharePoint list customizations easier with the PowerShell. Here I have a SharePoint list named Employee Leave Request, which is having the columns like title, leave type, end date, half day, etc. So first we will start by renaming the title column as a leave title. To run the PowerShell script, here I am using Visual Studio Code Editor. In PnP PowerShell, with the help of the set PnP field command, we can rename the title column. And this command is taking the parameters like list, identity and values. So for the list parameter, we need to provide the SharePoint list name, and for identity, we need to provide the title, SharePoint list field name. And here for title equal to, we are giving this new title name as a leave title. Now let's run the code. Now the code runs successfully. We will see in the SharePoint list. Now here you can see the title name is changed as a leave title. Next we will make the title column as a required column. In the set PnP field command, by passing true value to this required property, it will make this title column as a required column. Now let's run the code. Now in the SharePoint list, if we go to the list settings, here you can see now the title column is become as a required column. In this SharePoint list, you can see here I have a status column which is a choice data type. But here I don't have any choice value. Now let's see how to add choice values to this column. In PnP PowerShell, with the help of this add PnP field command, we can create a choice column along with adding the values to it. But here in my case, I already created choice column, but I don't have any values, right? So at that time, we can use this below code. You no need to worry about the code. In the description box below, I am providing one link. In that link, you can have all these PnP PowerShell commands. See here, I am passing all the choice value which I required for the status column in this new choices variable, which is an array. And from this array, I am getting each value and converting it as a string, and then I am storing into this choices values. Here in the set PnP field command, in the values parameter for the choices, I am assigning this choice values variable. Now let's run the code. Now the code runs successfully. We will check in the SharePoint list. See all the values that I have provided in the code. Now it is added to this status column. And one more thing, here you can see the default value is none. Let's see how to update the default value for this choice column. In the set PnP field command, for the default value property, I am providing the not started value. Here whatever value you want to set it as a default, you can provide that one here. Now let's run the code. Now if we see the status column, the default value will be updated. See, it is updated as a not started. Here I have a SharePoint list named approval details, which is having the column HR group. The data type of this column is a person column. So by defaultly, the people can be able to select one person at a time. Now, when we enable this allow multiple selections, the users can able to select multiple peoples. Now, let's see how we can able to enable this allow multiple selection property. See, in the set field command, I am providing that SharePoint list name for the list parameter and field name for the identity parameter. And here for the allow multiple selection property, I am providing the true value. So it will enable the allow multiple selections in that person or group column. Now in the SharePoint list, we will check it once. Here you can see this property is enabled now. And in the employee leave request SharePoint list, I have leave days column, which is a number data type. Here for this column, By defaultly, the use 1000 separator property is enabled. Now let's see how to disable this property. So when we disable this property, the numbers will be displayed in the column without comma. Here in the set PnP field command, to turn off that use 1000 separator, I am taking this comma separator. For this property, we need to provide the false value. Now let's run the code. In the SharePoint list, if we check this number column, see this property is turned off now. And here for this number column, you can also set some default values like 0. To set default value to 0 for the number column, we need to provide this 0 value within in the form of string for the default value property in the set PnP field command. Here you can see the default value is updated as a 0. In this SharePoint list, I have a comments column which is a multi-line text column. So here I want to enable this append changes to existing text. So whenever any people will provide comments means the comments will be displayed in line by line. To achieve this one, we need to enable this append changes to existing text property. Let's see how to enable this one. To enable that property in the set PnP field command, for this append only property, we need to pass true value. Let's run the code. See, the append changes to existing text property is enabled now. And here only you can see I have a start date column, and by defaultly this for this column, this include time and friendly format properties are enabled. But I don't want to enable these properties because I want to display the date in the standard format only. So let's see how to disable these two properties with the help of PnP PowerShell commands. Here, to turn off the friendly format property for the date column, I took this friendly display format enumeration, which is the part of SharePoint client object model that specifies how the date should be displayed. So when we give this disable for this property, it will disable that friendly format. And here I take a display format property which is an enumeration. It is also the part of SharePoint client object model. And here if we provide date only, then it will exclude that include time property. Now let's run the code. Now in the SharePoint list, if we see those two properties will be disabled. So like this, by using this PnP PowerShell commands, we can customize the SharePoint list fields easily. Thank you for watching this video and don't forget to subscribe this channel. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe for more tutorials on SharePoint and PowerShell.